Would you like to open the meeting?
Yeah, let's open our Heritage and Arts special meeting for Tuesday, September 26th. Roll call
Chair Etmod absent, Vice Chair Gupta,
here.
Commissioner Farren expected to arrive, Commissioner Fong,
Here.
Commissioner Hall, Commissioner Mujica Beavers, Commissioner Noguez. Thank you. Commissioner Farren has arrived.
Any oral communications that we need to register?
I am seeing none.
I guess the next item is the consent calendar.
Would you like to read the items or would you like me to?
You can read the title, item title.
Sure. On the consent calendar, Portuguese Dairy mural historical signage, adopt the verbiage for 2 final signs to be placed at the Dairy mural site. These are final versions as written and reviewed by members of the project, Dave Gotts, town historian, the Landmark Society, and the Tiburon Peninsula Foundation. And under the consent calendar, 1 approval for anything on the consent calendar. And there is only 1 item, which you have in front of you as exhibits 1 and 2.
Everybody
Okay.
move to adopt the verbiage. I second.
We'll take a roll call vote. Vice Chair Gupta,
Yes.
Commissioner Farren. This is,
Sorry.
that's all right. Is that a yes? Commissioner Fong,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall, Commissioner Mujica Beavers.
Yes.
Commissioner Noguez. Thank you. Moving on to the action items.
Action item number 1, piano in South Knoll Park. Patty, do you have any
I do have one update.
information?
This was a late arrival by Judith Ward email regarding the date, just for the public's. We are reviewing the approval of the Hunter Noack piano in South Knoll Park and considering alternate date choice. Would you like me to read before I talk about the date choice? Should we read out the staff report?
Sure.
Okay. Staff report, action item number 1, piano performance at South of Knoll Park. The proposal for a piano concert performance in the South of Knoll Park was approved by the Heritage and Arts Commission at the August 28, 2023 meeting. The proposal consists of a piano performance in the outdoor setting of South of Knoll Park or other designated outdoor area with headphones available to enhance the experience. Date to be determined, May 2024 suggested. The $6,000 initial sponsor fee as outlined in the proposal was approved and funding research will be conducted. The South of Knoll location was approved. The commission also approved the marketing of the event and the sale of headphones to be handled solely by the quote in a landscape end quote nonprofit organization putting on the event. A formal agreement from In a Landscape will be requested and presented for review to the town of Tiburon manager, who will determine whether a contract is required. Financial analysis is per the official PowerPoint proposal. I did not put that in. Again, everyone has had it in the past. If you'd like me to go through it, I can, but it explains in depth the cost of the $6,000, the ticket sales, outreach, and promotion. Points of discussion are, we talked about this, parking at South of Knoll Park and accessibility and weather. This is what we're addressing today, alternate date replacement. And on the staff report, and not part of the action item today, is possible fundraising, grants, private donations, and public funds held in reserve by the town of Tiburon. Staff recommends that the Heritage and Arts Commission this evening consider approval of one or more of the following date of performance. So I received this per the request by the commission to find out if there could be a fall or later summer performance from Judith at the end of today. She said that she had just spoken to Lori Nowak, who had been difficult to reach, and she said that they have not confirmed their schedule yet, but the proposed date is likely to be around May 26, latest May 27, which is Memorial Day weekend. They are still considering September dates as well, but won't know for a few weeks. And I think we need to be prepared to go forward in May with the possibility of scheduling it for September if that opens up. Either way, the weather should be fine for those time frames. I would only posit, I did not notice that was Memorial Day weekend. Would they consider that a lot of people are gone on Memorial Day weekend? Yeah, that would be something to take into account, perhaps.
That's true, beginning of September.
Traveling is big. on the weekend.
Yes, no, I agree.
So I'll open it for discussion.
I think you're right. Memorial Day weekend, it's also the end of school. But I think, so in that sense, yes, some people may be gone, but some people may still be here. And also, since they're advertising on Eventbrite to a larger audience, you know, they would still draw people from all over the Bay Area, presumably. So I think May 26th, 27th. Anybody have any ideas about that?
You find points of this.
Agree that, you know, I think there will still be enough people interested to make it worthwhile. And nonetheless, I think we just need to lock down the date. And the date can always be changed. It's not cast in stone.
Which is what Judith said, yeah. And then if something came available, you could discuss it.
I think there will be tourists and travel and there's graduations. I think our first responsibility that we need to recall and remember is to the town of Tiburon. So we should look to doing this for residents in the community of Tiburon first. That should be one priority. We haven't gotten to weather yet, but I think we need to look at the state very carefully. There's a lot of competition. A lot of the people that do stay here go, I think it's Bottle Rock happens, but there's a lot going on that weekend. So and once we get to the weather, that's even a bigger concern for me because the weather has become very unpredictable. And as I walk that field every day, and as I think about or the fields around here, if it's a blustery cold, like it just could be very unsafe to have a concert outdoors when there's this unpredictable time.
So what's your suggestion?
I think we need to be very cautious about what the backup plan is. So I would recommend that we have 3 alternative dates. And we can consider an indoor location. If we cannot find an outdoor location, that this is going to work because the weather's become so unpredictable.
I think indoor location it doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
I agree. This is supposed to be outdoor, but
Yeah,
you know, we're going to be selling tickets and we just don't have a venue that lends itself to a stormy concert. Certain venues do. They're covered. They have gravel parking lots. So you can go to a school possibly and figure out how to have an outdoor concert. So given that this is meant to be in nature, I think we're going to have a series of backup dates that they agree to.
I think that's a good idea to back up dates. But we are really, you know, we're at the mercy of the group as to which date. And maybe we should start looking for alternative indoors. Maybe in the Del Mar field is less windy. I know about that windy. It's like our weather. Last night was rainy. Today is like on the hot side. So, you know, maybe we're lucky, but maybe we could look toward like at least a field that's a little more secluded and a little protection, because to run a last minute tent is very expensive.
Tents are prohibitively.
I know. I mean, we're not going to be able to do that. So.
Not necessarily comfortable if there's a storm, not necessarily.
Mhm.
I'll
How
just-
about if the piano and the player would be from before we plan to put a tent, sort of small tent, obviously not big, and then people, I think they might weather it.
No, I think the tent
No?
Oh.
would be only emergency. I wouldn't even think about it because it's like tens and thousands of dollars to set up a
Even
tent.
small one.
Yeah,
And also, I
in the
don't know-
thousands, and
I-
we don't have extra.
And I don't
money.
know if Hunter Nowak would agree to
Yeah,
playing in a tent. I
it-
doubt he would. But I will say this, that looking at the AccuWeather and Weather Channel averages for the month of May, the high is 58, the low is 51, which is slightly lower than June, which is high of 60 and low of 53. One day, typically, on average, there's one day of rain. So it may rain on Memorial Day weekend. There's always that chance, but I think it's a chance that if we can wait out and see, maybe there will be a September date that opens up, in which case we can tell the NOAC people that we would rather a September date. And I think they already are aware of that, but we can kind of reiterate that if they're still planning on September, we'd rather have it in September than in May when the weather is warmer and there's less chance of
Yeah.
rain.
I support that.
Yeah.
Let's
me too.
go for it. Yeah.
You know, we do need to, I was skiing and there was a storm so bad in May that we couldn't even get up to a canyon. It was snowing. So I also have been at the Tiburon Wine Festival in May when it was blowing. It's not only just the rain, it's the wind and it's lightning and it's just, you don't want a crowd of people.
That's why they moved to September.
Yeah, I think we
That's
could
must
just,
be
we're
September.
talking about two things that we have no control with, on the date as well as the weather. So I think we should just make prudent decision, which is that we prefer to have September and if possible. If not, I'm willing to take a chance on May.
So I guess the motion would be to accept the May date and request an alternate date.
Yes.
I would enhance the motion to say must have at least one contingent backup date.
Okay.
That's the term.
I think
That
it's a
should be
good
the
idea
principal
that
concept.
they
Okay, does
suggest
someone
one
want to put that
country.
motion together then in one?
Well, can I
So-
just make one statement? I really don't think that given the, experience of the pianist, that he's going to want to set up his piano in the rain or in
Yeah.
inclement weather, and that most likely it would be postponed or canceled. So I think, again, those are variables we have no control over, neither does he. But for me, it's just, let's lock it down. Solid, lock it down. I know he performs in the city and the weather there is a lot of times foggy and yeah, so.
That's a good point, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Are we ready for motion?
So lock it down means if the pianist wants to perform, then we're obligated to hold an event.
I agree, we should.
We-
agree.
Right. Exactly.
And if there's not, then we'll stop it. Okay.
And then presumably, have them play in the rain.
I think, I think, yeah. It's not to his
I
advantage.
think we should ask them specifically what happened, what the contingency clause. is. I mean, we're focusing a lot of time and energy to make this event fabulous, not a horrific, scary thing. So, and it becomes horrific when there's windstorms. I mean, I live here and I see the wind come whipping through and trees getting knocked down and the roads are closed. And the next day it's sunny and beautiful, but we just need to have a contingency fund that they agree to.
But I think as Nora said, that he wouldn't want to be
And
playing.
we'll put it in writing, legal.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Yeah, we have a fiduciary responsibility to ensure that we have an appropriate language to safeguard our options.
So we need to find out. We need to find out from them what happens in the past.
Well-
Because it's been wonderful. On and off. Okay, in the past, I'm sure they've had to cancel at some point. They're up in Oregon and that gets rainy. So maybe either ask Judith for more information from the nonprofit, how they handle this. But in the meantime, yeah.
Okay, so getting back to the action item has to do with the date specifically. And as in the staff report, it mentions, because we are buying a service from an artist, same as we're working on right now, there will be a contract, and within that will be all of those concerns taken, exactly. All of that will come later. Tonight's point is to try to say, yes or no, we accept the May date, or we accept it and we want an alternate. However you want to name this, it's really all about the date. We're not to the contractual, what do we do if they cancel and all of that, and that we'll have to get there.
Can we add to the motion about the policy with a statement?
That's
that we
not
need to
what's
get?
being discussed here,
Okay.
no, because that
That's
wasn't
okay.
before the public in order to prepare for
Can
that.
we make the date contingent upon us accepting the policy? That we agree to this date contingent upon there being a policy for backup plan.
I would say no. I would say it's very clearly
On the-
stated whether is what we need to decide.
We're just considering the
Alternate
date
date
of the
replacement.
performance.
Yes, the date of performance.
No one's signed a contract yet, so I think that would come about at the point where we're now requesting the
I don't think we
particulars.
should lock ourselves. And is it Friday that we're talking about, or is it?
Well, you can also make a motion to say we tentatively accept the May 24 date based on further information about other dates
26
to be, or you can say to be continued. After, you can also continue this motion and not make a motion at all
It's
and wait on the
Saturday.
next meeting when.
Saturday or Sunday?
It's a Sunday, May 26th is a Sunday, May 27th is a Monday.
She is back for the next meeting, Judith is. She's expects to have heard from them by then with an alternate date. You can continue
Great.
this and not make a motion tonight to be continued to the next meeting. That is your other alternative.
Any other thoughts, Nora?
No, I mean, again, I'm looking at this logically, which is, I really doubt that anybody in his position would put anybody at risk or put his piano at risk and his reputation at risk. He comes from a climate that has unpredictable weather. He performs in San Francisco, which has unpredictable weather, usually cold. So I don't think that we need to box
Worry
them
about-
in. I
Mhm.
don't think we need to worry about it. I think what we need to do is just say that we want this to happen.
Mhm.
And if we say, we are fine with the date in May, however, down the road, after we consider the contract, which we have to look at anyway,
Right,
then we can think about it. But right now, I think it's,
and there's no contracts.
Yeah, I
no
think we might
contracts.
be worrying about two.
No risk in at least asking. We're.
We are
there's
asking, yeah.
other-
We are going to be asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that we postpone our approval of the date until we get all the information back. You're surmising that they will cancel, but let's just have them confirm that. If
I mean,
they will cancel. If the
They
people-
already
that's a
know that we've
policy.
approved the proposal, that we've approved wanting to do it. Putting off this motion to have a date until the next meeting really probably doesn't change anything. They know we're committed.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would send all that policy and info once
Sure.
you lock in the date. But I would
Well,
like
even
to say
before-
something about the date. I personally, I don't know if the Sunday or the Monday is better. Monday is when everybody returns with all that traffic, if they're going somewhere. Which means they can't come on Sunday. And if we do it on Sunday, we're depending on the people who stay around.
Well, if you're
So
waiting to
I'm a
hear-
little mixed.
Yeah, if you're waiting to hear about an alternate date, I just read the email and she may not have thought of that either, but if you're waiting to hear, we can nail that down too
Okay.
by the next meeting.
okay.
That's all I
Well,
got.
Let's,
All right,
let's wait till
that's
then I think
So this will be,
Judith needs to get back to us
Yeah.
with alternative date as well as the policy
Yeah.
for cancellation for inclement weather.
And it's September.
Okay,
okay.
No motion. Okay.
Okay. So action item number 1 has been moved to the next, officially moved to the next meeting in October. Action item number 2 is the Miwok statute proposal. receive update from the ad hoc committee on location choices for the Miwok statue proposal and consider approval of same, discuss next steps. Nothing was included because we were going back to look at the Angel Island. There, you saw that we had pictures of possible locations, et cetera, but discussion with the acting chair is now kind of moved past that and gone straight to the review of the report.
Go ahead. You,
Do you want to, well.
I'll just start.
We met and Victoria did do a kind of a survey of spots. Do you want to talk about
Sure.
certain places?
We met and I personally reviewed the proposal, and I did take a walk down the bike path seeking particular places. However, in looking at the public art policy that was adopted by the town, we really should have included the PASP in evaluating the proposal. And I would like, if it's okay with my ad hoc partner, that we turn this proposal to PASP asking for more details. We really need a little more detail onto the artwork, why the artist was chosen. We didn't get any, I did Googling and I didn't get much about the artist. So I think to do our due diligence as part of the commission, I would suggest that we propose and put this back to PASP for a formal report.
I think, we're in agreement, Victoria and I, that yes, PASP has a role to play here. There was no request for artists. It was a proposal that was brought to us. And we feel that PASP needs to review it, and we'd love to hear their thoughts, both on the merits of the artwork itself, the merits of the artist. And then before we rush through with this, it's a considerable sum of money involved. We have very little information on the artist. I couldn't find any market comparables.
Yeah,
And I also feel that
I checked.
you know, I'd like to hear their thoughts on given the nature of the work, memorializing and celebrating Miwok culture and the Miwok people here in Tiburon. I would love to hear the thoughts of PASP on not only on the representation itself, but also on the artist from which this is coming from as well. That's our
And as far as the quality, it's a huge statue, and the installation might have a problem with the site. So I think I certainly could use the advice of PASP before taking any vote on it.
Yes, but also, excuse me, why is this price? I mean, the artist has no record of selling his pieces for these prices. There is nowhere. Usually a price of a work of an artist is decided by the auctions, the galleries, something. And I think it's quite unusual how they've already put this price.
Yeah, I think the PASP could evaluate and do some research on it and
Yeah,
give us some
they can do that.
recommendations.
I agree with
I
Azita.
couldn't find any.
Okay.
So there's no motion being carried here. We should ask for public comment.
Public comment.
There is no public comment coming online, but any comment? Okay, let me get you.
Do you want
a
to-
microphone?
No, let's give him that, like,
What's wrong?
Yes, just a couple of points. This is actually perfect way to use the PASP.
I'd like to interject PASP for the general public is Public Art Selection Panel.
Right, Public Art Selection Panel, which is a standing committee of this commission. And in the past, we've had other instances where artwork has come forward and they've gone to the PASP. It does help the commission to have a filter on the front end. So, and so things have, been filtered out in the past for a variety of reasons. And I think that we should be equipped to do research and find out, about historical sculptures, about the Miwok sculptures, et cetera, a lot of stuff that could be done to help with your decision. So on behalf of myself, I accept I accept the challenge, the Miwok challenge.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you. You accept the process in the public art policy that you so well directed.
Question. So how does this go forward then? Will there be a recommendation formally now to send it to PASP with clear delineation of what they're supposed to do?
Should we make a motion?
Well, let's see.
Is an
What,
action item.
what was
Discuss next
specific
steps.
was the location choices for the Miwok statute proposal and consider approval of same. So
No,
that was what it was going to be. That's not happening. So actually,
There's
it
no
just goes
action.
back to the ad hoc to work on. But since the PASP is a standing committee of the commission, they can reach out to PASP and suggest this without a motion.
Okay, but my only question is the delineation of what they're supposed to do. So that will come from the
Oh.
subcommittee. I'm asking for guidance as to how this process will
Oh,
happen.
okay. For
we're
discussion.
gonna ask Richard to do, to consider the whole proposal in its entirety, to consider the merits of the artwork,
Okay,
the merits of the artist, and whether or not they feel that it's a suitable project for the
project.
town, and to give us their advice on that, and we'll take that into consideration, and then come back
Mhm.
in
Well,
October,
that's-
and we'll give another ad hoc report on the project. And at that point, I think, we were putting the cart before the horse with regards to finding a location for this piece, and we just want to reel it in a little bit and take another look and have a little more discussion about it, because there are some inconclusive, elements
Yeah.
about this with regards to the artist, the artwork. I think, as an art advisor myself, I would say that, given the sum of money involved here,
We
we need to understand, who is this artist? And what is this artist's, presence in the art market, as well as in the cultural sphere of the Bay Area and of California?
Yeah, serving on the ad hoc, I absolutely agree. We just feel that we need much more information and background. Yeah.
one of the things that I would want to add, just as a
Mhm.
request to the ad hoc, is the whole idea of what other efforts are being made
Right.
in the Bay
elsewhere.
Area with regard to recognition of the Miwok. Because again, you don't want to reinvent the wheel, and if there's a way to work collaboratively with other Indigenous groups, or other people who purport to represent the Miwok, that it would be good to get as much input, and also as much information that is available to us here.
Yeah,
think that's a-
thank you.
I think that's a good idea, and I think that also reaffirms our commitment to having some work in the town that does recognize Indigenous peoples of the Tiburon Peninsula. So thank you, Nora.
As a matter of fact, I've just reached out to David Gotts, our historian, see what we have in town. And I will do so for the library in conjunction with the PASP, but we definitely need a little more. And I think we're going the right direction in following the public art policy adopted by the town, but we share the same ideas. Thank you.
And there's no other public comment. Action item number 3, artwork in Town Hall Civic Plaza / Zelensky Park. Appoint ad hoc committee to research viable locations within the newly created plaza and Zelensky Park. So before you start discussion on this, I just want to point out that there is a strong movement by the town hall to say no sculptures in the middle of the green. It is already being used for cultural events, and they want to keep the open spaces open without anything on them so that they can be used interactively in all different ways. That said, though, all of the periphery of the Civic Plaza and around the park could be looked at for pieces or
Chair,
sculptures.
I was a proponent of this because I actually came out the fact that I drive back and forth on this Tiburon Boulevard and it just looks terrible. Just all cement. All I see is a trash can by the library. And I think it's a great way to also show the generosity and heritage of our town with some kind around Zelensky Park. When I mentioned Zelensky Park, it wasn't just the greens, but it's something that would be inviting and get us into the plaza. Right now, it's like nobody's ever there, you know. So that's the crux of the beginning of this, and that's why I would love to serve on the ad hoc committee and to kind of investigate, and maybe it's something also that might go to PASP either at some point. But anyway, that's my comment.
I again have a question, and that is with regard to the way that the action item is worded. It says appoint ad hoc committee to research viable locations within the newly created plaza and Zelensky Park. So locations, in my mind, implies fixed pieces or possibly temporary pieces. But my vision for Zelensky Park and the newly created plaza is to do possibly more interactive performance related, pieces or events.
Yeah, that was also the other thing. We thought it was like a performance plaza and having activities, but that's all could also be included.
Right.
I mean, it's all part of it. Locations is as what, going back to what our staff liaison Patty is saying, that now we know they don't want it in the middle of the green. Not that we were, when I say we, not that that was a thought, but it's good to just kind of, maybe we'll come back, say, leave as is.
And also the middle of the plaza, leaving it the open space for interactive. And whoever is on the ad hoc committee needs to work with the library also, because the line goes right down the middle or wherever it goes. I don't even know exactly where it is. So that helps to.
Yeah, the reason I like to volunteer myself was that when I was chair of the commission, I did go over to the library at least 2 years or 3 years ago. And we did, propose to the agency, but at that time, well, nothing's done. So I'd like to just revitalize some possibilities.
So if you name and vote an
Nothing
ad
set
hoc.
in stone.
I would volunteer.
Great.
I'm not going to speak for Jale, but I think she was interested also she's expressed interest in Zelensky Park, and maybe we can also inform her that we are forming this ad hoc committee and that she may, if she wants to join.
So do you want
as
to make
well.
a formal motion to create the ad hoc committee and we'll vote on it and give the names?
Sure. I move to form an ad hoc committee to consider artworks and their locations in Zelensky Park. And forming that ad hoc committee with Nora and with Victoria Fong and possibly with Jale, the chair.
Second,
Second.
Second phone.
and roll call vote. So we have Vice Chair Gupta,
Yes,
Commissioner Farren, Commissioner Fong,
Yes,
Commissioner Hall. Commissioner, yes or, it's on a yes or no vote.
Yes, yes or no. Say-
Pardon?
Say yes. Or no.
Yes.
She said yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Mujica Beavers.
Yes.
Commissioner Noguez.
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor. Okay, and moving to the last action item, the artist exhibition calendar for 2023-24. I'll read the staff report on the prior interested artist out.
I think he has something.
Oh, I'm
to say.
sorry. My mistake, public comment on action item number 3. That's my fault. Mistake. Oh, he's got it. We have to turn it back on too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You can take it off that thing too. It's the right-hand button, hold it down. Then it should go on. Very.
Okay, yeah. So I, I just want to say 2 quick comments. One is that filling in a little bit of the history of the situation, we were always looking at this Plaza Zielinski Park area for a long time. And a lot of it was just pure speculation because the library was under construction for how many years? 3 years? 3 to 4 years. And we didn't really know what this plaza was going to look like. And so now that we see that we have a lot of concrete, we have a lot of hardscape out there, putting something in there that would be to soften it and to be artistic, if you have a piece of art, I think would be an important project. And we have to talk to the library. We would talk to the library in the past, but of course it was way too premature for all that. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that I would just, for my own personal point of view, I suppose, that I think the commission could be working on 2 things going forward. One is, of course, these temporary exhibits, which it looks like, that's something that's going to be a yearly event. I commend you on that. That sounds really, really a good thing to do. But while the temporary track is going on, we could also be working on a permanent piece of art somewhere in this plaza area, right? And we know it's going to be a long path before that actually happens. And we know it's going to be much more expensive than the temporary, et cetera. So all I'm saying is that doing forward planning, we should start thinking about how we're going to get a permanent piece, where it's going to go, et cetera, how we're going to choose it. I don't have to go into all those details now, but we know that it's going to be complicated. And so starting as a goal that we will end up with something appropriate and beautiful, hopefully, in this area that will draw, as Victoria said, that will draw people, into the park and into the plaza is I think a long-term goal that's worthy. So that's what we're thinking. And so we're on our way.
May I comment something? When, as you say, Public Art Committee was discussing at the beginning and they were looking at this location. And Brenda Butt of the library committee called, and I'm sure talked to other people too, that this is not they want to make decisions about it. And as Public Art Committee is under the umbrella of the Heritage and Art Commission, I think first you need to talk to the Art Committee of Library and involve them or something, because they really think this is something that it's their domain and that they don't want the commissioner to get involved.
I agree with that, and I
Mhm.
would just say that when I was the artist laureate, they were the first people I talked to.
So
I have to stop us here. We're getting into a
Sorry.
discussion and deliberation, and this really is to put the ad hoc together, good points for the ad hoc to go off of. But we can't get too into
it was
discussion here.
something that
Yeah,
to be aware of.
but that's good though.
Agree. It's just suggestions and.
Thank you for bringing that back. It kind of just, yeah.
They feel very
There you
strong.
go. Thank you, Richard. Okay, so we have the ad hoc committee and good input from everyone. Action item number 4, artist exhibition calendar and staff report. Consider approval of artists and calendar. We don't have a lot to approve yet. I'll explain. And consider the appointment of an ad hoc committee to handle artist outreach for 2024. So first, the staff report. Town Hall Art Exhibits 23-24. The Town Hall Art Gallery located in the upstairs community room has been officially closed since the beginning of 2020. The lower Town Hall lobby and Town Council chambers has also not been utilized for exhibits despite the reopening of this space. On September 13, 2023, the Heritage and Arts Commission reopened both upstairs and downstairs with a show, past and present, representing the artists who have exhibited in the past. The commission is now ready to fully open both the upstairs gallery and the lobby chambers to art exhibitions. The artists who are hoping to show their work in 2020, who were hoping to show their work in 2020, have been contacted to see if they would like to show in either the last 2 months of 2023, November and December, or for a 2-month period starting in January of 2024. A calendar reflecting all dates and their preferences is shown in Exhibit 1. I would point out though, and if you'd like to look at Exhibit 1 for a moment, the only ones, it lists all the prior artists, but the ones in yellow are the only ones that are actually confirmed and have responded to me. That would be Jet Walker asking for September, October of 2024. Marta Wendlinger just responded and said she wanted that same opening. It's the only time she can do it, so I'll be requesting Jet Walker to find out if she's able to change so that we can accommodate both. I just heard from here today, Marta. Happily, Don Pickett is going to have a retrospective of his work. If in January, February in the lobby. Sandra Wolfson has requested March, April in the lobby. Patricia Lawrence from the Marin Watercolor Society, I've not heard back from yet. Landmarks always likes to take November, December if it's available, and it's a nice time because most artists don't prefer that time because the town hall is closed a good portion of the time. So those were the artists from 2020. As you can see, there are quite a few spots still to fill. That's why the suggestion of an ad hoc committee to do new artist outreach.
I would like to be in that ad hoc committee, and also.
Okay, let me just finish the staff report and then
sorry.
we'll do
All
that
right.
motion and open to discussion. So that was Exhibit 1. Staff recommends the Heritage and Arts review the calendar and approve the current artist requests, and then consider approval of an ad hoc committee to work on artist outreach and scheduling. So now I'm going to open this up to, so go ahead, please.
May I say something?
Yes,
First
please.
of all, is Jet Walker or Don Pickett has not been, but
I'm sorry, I
Sandra-
didn't hear the first part.
I said Jet Walker and Sandra Wolfson, they are showing now. I think they should be put for later on in the coming year because they are just showing now. And again, to put an exhibition of their work. It's just very redundant for.
You mean in
I
in 2025, you want them to move to 2025? Is that what you're saying?
That's a year from now.
February is 2024.
No.
We're talking about 2024 for them, not 2023 is over. Basically,
I'm aware, but I'm saying, well,
Yeah.
October is good, but Sandra is March.
well,
I
they
don't
did
know.
wait since 2020 for a complete showing of their works. She has one piece in this show, so I think that it would be. Yeah,
All right,
To
if
t-
that's
yeah.
what you think, okay.
because she wants to do a complete show. And just downstairs in the lobby.
Jet.
And Jet wants to do a complete show upstairs,
Next.
September, October.
of next.
Yeah.
Can I just make a comment? It's a bit confusing
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
you've got artist calendar in the first section, lines 1 through 14, and it says 23, 24 upstairs. So it
Oh,
kind of,
I'm sorry, take out the 23 for
Yeah.
that one.
That's what I was
Yeah.
wondering.
I'm sorry. And you're absolutely right. That does throw that off because, well, that is, yeah, just take out the 2023, basically. It's, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I'm sorry to confuse you. It's 2024
okay.
for both of them. Thank you for pointing
have-
that out.
I have a couple of questions.
Mhm.
When you say lobby, is that, in the past, we had downstairs, we had to use of that wall. So are we, every time for an artist lobby, that's a small space? I mean, are we changing our spaces? I just
No,
want a
it says the
clarification.
lower town hall lobby and town council chambers. That's in the staff report. I just didn't write it all out here. When I put
Oh.
lobby, that does include the town council.
Oh,
yeah.
it does? Okay, good.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that I thought in the past, we alternate, like 1 month is for changing upstairs and 1 month for changing downstairs. I'm not saying pros or cons either way. I just want a clarification on the dates. So now we're going to do monthly on both locations. Okay, that's fine.
I have one question about. the-
That can change. This was all, Jolly and I sat down and just put this
Yeah,
calendar
well,
together.
that-
Okay.
If we can do it, let's see how it goes, and if it's too much, then we'll go back to the alternate. My question is, I see there now that we understand it's 2024
Mhm.
upstairs. There's the January through February slot, the March through April slot.
Mhm.
Those have not been claimed. Is that correct?
Correct, because we only had, people dropped out and didn't even want to be considered again. We only had the 1, 2, we had Sandra, Marta, Jet, the Watercolor Society.
Yep.
And that was it. 2 other people moved away. So we lost them. So we didn't even have a full roster. That's why we need an ad hoc to do new artists.
So the ad hoc is for both the new artists as well as those who.
And then they can take over
Yeah.
handling these. two.
Okay, well,
I like to be in that.
Azita would like to
Yes.
be on the ad hoc. I would like to be on the ad hoc.
Mhm.
Trish? Okay, so I move that we form an ad, hoc. Anybody else? Nora?
You can't more than 3.
Three. That's right, yeah. I move that Azita, myself and Trish form the ad hoc for the new and returning artists showing at the town hall for the town hall art exhibits.
Second. Is there public comment?
Yes, we have no public.
But, oh, no.
Our one public left. Jolly is listening in.
Okay.
Okay, great. And is there an approval of the current artist calendar, which now it's up in the air because of hearing from Marta today asking if, I imagine Jet would be willing, since Marta can only fill that spot,
Sure.
to move. So I will have an updated calendar at the next meeting.
I move to approve the calendar.
A second.
And that's just the 3 yellow ones, okay, with changes as needed, okay.
Can we vote on both at the same time?
Yes. We'll do a roll call vote. On both items, staff report under staff recommends number 1 and 2. And we have Vice Chair Gupta,
Yes,
Commissioner Farren,
Yes.
Commissioner Fong,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner Mujica Beavers.
Yes.
Commissioner Noguez.
Yes.
Thank you. And coming to the calendar dates. So our normal meeting, our regular meeting, 4th Tuesday of the month is October 24. The problem is that will be canceled because there will be no one here to do the agenda, being me. I return on at midnight on the 23rd. So I checked with both Chair Etamad and Vice Chair Gupta to make sure that October 30 would be a viable, in case one of them wasn't able to make it, a viable replacement. Normally, we're on a Tuesday. The 30th is a Monday, but the 31st is Halloween. And the people have kids and they want to be at other functions that night. So is everyone, do we have a quorum even here tonight that could say they would be here on October 30, Monday?
I think I'm so far.
Okay, and I think Arjun, you had said you could too, and Jolly did, so we do have a quorum. Okay. And there are 2 concerts coming up, November 19 and December 10. There is actually one in October, but it's already sold out. So November 19 and November 10. Those will show up again on the October calendar.
Concert in San Hilario.
Pardon?
Concert in San Hilario. Where is the concert?
In St. Hilary at the church, yeah.
Can I make a statement about that?
Sure.
Just to let people know that because Landmarks concerts are part of essentially H&A,
Mhm.
then we have, I don't want to say a duty, but we should support the concerts. And many of us have helped either by driving or by providing wine during intermission. So I would just encourage people to do that. Because for one thing, if that concert's sold out, you get to go for free. Oh, no, Dave.
Oh, no, these are the Landmarks concerts, yeah.
Yeah.
I work them regularly, I know, and
Yeah.
and Nora's
I-
been there.
Yeah, so whenever possible, if we could support them.
It's
by
great to
either
go free too.
driving or helping to
It's-
serve alcohol during the
It's
intermission.
really excellent. I've been in the past, but luckily or unfortunately, Sunday is my day with grandchildren.
Ah.
So at this time, in a couple of years, they probably don't want to talk to me. So preteen girls, yeah. So I just want to say I totally support, and I'm just expressing my regrets. And the other thing is that I always like to pay for my own ticket. I don't want to take advantage of because they do make money on that. And I totally support the Landmark for these performances. It's really excellent acoustics, and it's a lot of fun.
All right, well, I think we've reached the end of the meeting, it's possibly our shortest meeting in years. Would we like to adjourn the meeting, Chair, at 6:26 PM?
So which days?
before I adjourn, I'd like to wish Nora a happy birthday
30th and when? No, Sunday.
Oh,
and
right.
meeting adjourned.
Yes.
thank you.
This is sold out, so there's November.